Are you missing tacos on the carnivore diet? Let me show you this easy 3-ingredient tortillas that is 100% carnivore, and it will put Taco Tuesday back on the menu. Welcome to Broken Carnivore. My name is Kelly. I'm glad you stopped by today. In this video, I am going to be doing a super simple 3-ingredient carnivore tortilla recipe that will bring back your taco nights at home that you've been missing since you're on the carnivore diet. This recipe I have created myself based on a keto recipe by taking the keto ingredients out and placing it with the carnivore recipe, the ingredients. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to take 2 cups of shredded mozzarella cheese, 1 cup of pork panko, and what I like to do is I like to just kind of blend it in a little bit before I put the 3rd ingredient in. Now, the 3rd ingredient is 1 teaspoon of beef gelatin. And what I did is I went ahead of time and actually put it in there to kind of give it a little bit of a bloom. So we're going to kind of gently incorporate it throughout the mixture here. And then we're going to actually mix it all back together. And now I am going to go put it in the microwave behind me for 1 minute. And what we're going to do is we want to start melting the ingredients together to make that dough for the tortilla shells. It's been 1 minute, so now what we want to do is knead the ingredients together to start blending it together. And on this first round, you're not going to get it completely incorporated together. That's why we're going to have to do an additional melt time in the microwave. So I usually just go around and just do a good knead. Like you're kneading dough, like bread dough or any kind of other dough. Now we're going to put this back in the microwave for an additional 30 seconds, and that'll get that incorporated enough to give it that good final kneading that we need to form the dough for these tortillas. Now, since we got the additional 30 seconds on this, let's get this mixed up really well so we can have a good forming dough. So you just continue to mix it really well, blend it in, whatever you got to do just to get the ingredients all blended in well. And while I'm kneading this, I'm going to go ahead and turn on the hot plate to get that cast iron skillet heated up. Now that the dough is now fully kneaded, fully blended in, we're going to actually put it on this. I'm going to put it on this Tupperware pad that you use to knead dough for biscuits and bread and stuff like that. And so you can use 2 pieces of parchment paper. I hadn't had this at my house that was given to me. It is very old. I don't know if you can still get these or not, but it does come in handy when you're doing this kind of stuff. But you can just take 2 sheets of parchment paper and put one on the bottom, put the dough in the middle, and put the other one on top. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my hands to kind of pat and spread it out a little bit. And then I'm gonna take my roller pin, and what we're gonna do is we're going to actually flatten and spread this dough out flat as we can so we can actually make our tortillas. Now I got the dough all flattened out. We're going to remove the parchment paper. And the original recipe called for 8 tortillas. I think it depends on the size of the tortilla that you're going to be making, is depending on how many you're going to get. I usually do probably this size, maybe a 4 or 5 inch saucer pan. I think it depends on the size of the tortilla. If you're doing street tacos, you probably usually get 8, but I usually get 5 out of it. So what I'm gonna do is I need to get a knife. What I usually do is I'll take this plate, I'll put it upside down, and I usually find where it's kind of circular. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the knife and I'm going to trace around the plate to cut out, and you get your first tortilla. And that's what it usually is. So we're going to continue to make some more. So for this size plate, it's either 5 or 6 inches. I've already got 3 tortillas out of it. So this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna take that same bowl that you melted your dough in. You're gonna get it, and you're gonna take the scrap pieces, and you're gonna put it in there, and you're gonna put it back in the microwave for 30 seconds to get it to heat up, warm up, so you can actually re-knead it again. And you're gonna repeat the process until you use almost all the dough. So let me get this heated up, and I'll be back in a few to actually start heating up and cooking the tortillas where it looks like a tortilla. Now I have all the tortillas have been formed. I did get 5 out of that 6-inch saucer plate. So I think the original ingredient says calls for 8. I believe that is probably 8 street taco size, the real small tortillas for street tacos. But it varies if you want 1 large burrito shell or maybe 2 larger shells. Or just like this, it gave me 5 shells. So if you do the 6-inch saucer plate like I did, you're gonna get at least 5 total. So I got the cast iron griddle here heated up, and what we're going to do is I got a little bit of beef tallow melted here that I want to put on there so it will release the tortilla, because sometimes it can get sticky, and I want to make sure we can be able to release it. So we're going to put it on there for about 5 to 15 seconds, and we're going to brown on each side. And about 5 to 15 seconds on each side is probably plenty you want. I'm using this actually spatula. You could use tongs, but sometimes it can get a little sticky. That's why I prefer to use a little bit of tallow or butter so it can actually cook and release, because otherwise it can get sticky and you can mess up the tortilla. Trust me, I have done it before and it took me a few tries to get this. So I will be back because I'm going to finish the rest of it and we're going to give it a taste test. Now I got all 5 tortillas made. I will have to be brutally honest. This part here, especially if you're using cast iron, because cast iron holds the heat, you have to get it at a right level. I did manage to get 1 tortilla perfectly round, but my other 4, I did have trouble trying to keep that perfect circular shape. And no matter what, they're still usable, they're still edible. Sometimes it's a trial and error, and I'm still trying to get it perfectly cooked with it being perfectly shaped. But that said, let's try out these tortillas. So I went ahead and done pre-cooked some taco meat. You know, I did some ground beef. I kept the fat in there because I soon rather have the full fat, let the fat be mindered in instead of draining it, because I believe our bodies do need that healthy saturated fat. So I am actually going to I think I'll just take this deformed tortilla I have. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some sour cream on it. I'm going to put a little bit of ground beef. A little bit of shredded cheddar on there. And then, you know, Mexican, I like hot sauce. So put a little hot sauce on here. And let's give it a taste test to see how it come out. Oh, this definitely can bring back tacos for taco night and for supper time. You definitely ought to try it. Try this recipe. I will have it linked in the description box down below, how to prep it. The ingredients and all. I gotta have another bite. This is delicious. This is my favorite. Mexican is my weakness, and I love tacos, but being carnivore, it's kind of hard to do with the taco shells. But by inventing some kind of carnivore taco shell, you know, it brings that back to where you can have that again. Definitely recommend to try that recipe. So now, since we're at the end of this video, make sure you hit that like button so YouTube can get this video out. Subscribe to Broken Carnivore. Comment down below taco that if you're willing to try this recipe and have taco nights again on your menu. And make sure you hit that notification bell so that way you know when the next video is going to come out. Like always, let's be kind, be positive, have a good attitude, and encourage and support one another. You'll have a great day. God bless, and I'll see you on the next one. Bon appetit.